SS4 for the 9(8) number. Okay, so what we're going to do is the name of the trust is going to be your name change name. Okay, now we notice that there's a 9(8) number in the corner up here, but you're going to get this at the end of the phone call that you get. Now, to get your foreign 9(8) number, you do have to call the foreign EIN number for the IRS. So that number is 267-941-1099. That is 267-941-1099. Okay, so you're going to call this number after you have completed this SS4. They're going to ask you on the phone if you have completed your SS4, okay? So you want to make sure that you complete this so that you can follow along, because they sometimes won't say, well, what's the name of the secured party? Sometimes they'll ask you, well, what do you have in 7A? Okay, so it's very good for you to have this form, because sometimes you can call and get a bulldog and they will ask you something that has nothing to do with this form, and you can simply ask them, well, where is that on this form? Because that is not here. So, you would know how that goes when you have to get 9(8) numbers, okay? So let's go ahead and kick this off. So the legal name of the entity or individual whom the EIN is being requested is going to be the name of your name change. And then you don't have to put trust there because it's automatically a trust. When you call and you tell them, hey, I'm calling because they told me I need to get an EIN number from here for my international trust, okay? That's it. Once you fill out this form, it's already going to be recognized as a trust, so it's not imperative for you to put trust on the actual application, okay? Number 2, you can leave that blank. There is no trade name of business. Number 3, the executor, administrator, trustee, care of name, okay? Number 3 is your name and proper syntax. This is you, the natural person. You are the trustee that is administrating this trust. Number 4A will be your domestic care of address, is what you would put there in 4A and 4B. 5A will be your foreign address. Now, I prefer to have my addresses still on the American continent, and I have my own views for that. So, in this episode, we are doing Canada. So you can use this address if you choose. Please be original in your drafting of your documents. I also have some that have Peru on there, and so on and so forth. But the idea is for you to have an address that is outside of the United States. But you want something that is out of the District of Columbia. Let's put it like that, okay? So you would put that address in 5A and B. You would also put the country in 6, okay? Now, 7A should replicate and match number 3, the responsible party. Now, the responsible party and the trustee, as when we called in, are foreign. They don't have a social or an EIN and have never gotten an EIN for this particular trust before. So it does not have an I-10 or an EIN or a social security number, okay? 8A, is this application for a limited liability company, an LLC? No, it's not. All right. Let's see. 8B, if yes, it's no, so we can keep going. 8C, it's no, so we can keep going. It was not organized in the United States. That's a trick question, because if it was organized in the United States, then we wouldn't be getting a 9(8) number, we'd be getting an 84 number. The birth certificate in that particular Sesquier trust was organized in the United States, and that's what we'll go through when we go into the actual other trust EIN that you need to get. Okay, 9A, type of entity. Church or controlled organization would be the answer for this one. 9B, if a corporation, it's not a corporation, so we can keep going. 10, reason for applying. It's created a trust. Did we not? We just created a trust. What type of trust? It's a grantor trust. Okay. 11, date business started or acquired month. Okay. This is what my recommendation is. If you're just now getting your 9(8) and you haven't finished your certification of trust and your declaration of trust and the attachments that go with it, you haven't compiled all of that together and you're not ready to go open up your trust accounts yet, then give yourself some time. And this is for both EINs. This is for any EIN. If you're not ready to take action to go and do things, because you have to wait anyways to get this confirmation letter before you can even go anywhere, okay? And that could take up to 2 weeks. So give yourself some time to get the rest of your documents done and filed correctly. This isn't something that has to be rushed. Trust is something that is imperative, and you'll be operating with it throughout the course of your life. So we want to make sure that we're not rushing into this, because it's harder to go back and correct things than it is to just take our time to do it right the first time. Closing month of the accounting year, December is what the fiscal calendar is for the United States. Mine actually is in October, because that's when I do my closing of my trust. And that's when I close out and I start collecting everything to start doing the accounting on it. But that's completely up to you. Now, if you don't pick December, then that means that you would have to be a charitable grantor trust if you choose anything other than December. And if that's something that you are considering, please get the references and look up what a grantor charitable trust is, okay? They'll give you a list of about another 8 options as well for you to decide what is working, what would be best for you, but that is the option that I took, okay? 15, we don't have to apply for that one. All right, 16, check one box that best describes the principal activity of your business. It says other, this is for asset protection, okay? 17, we can leave blank. 18, has the applicant ever shown on line 1 ever applied for or received an EIN? No. This question they generally ask you before they even start to fill out your application. They're going to ask you if you have a social security number. No. They're going to ask you what country the trust was formed in. You know, a foreign address to the United States, of course. And they're going to ask you if you ever applied for an EIN. Once you pass those preliminary questions, then they will start to fill out your application. Oh, another thing I forgot, number 13. We went straight past that. You don't have any employees and you don't expect any for the next 12 months, okay? You will start to grow and develop. You're just opening this. I'm pretty sure that it's just you. So you're not employing anybody. You already are the trustee, okay? Now we can skip past. We don't have any third-party designees. And so at the bottom, you would sign it and put your phone number. Now you can also fax this in as well as call. Just to get it over with, I just go ahead and just call, but that's completely up to you. So now I'll go over into the domestic trust EIN and how that's supposed to look. All right, so this is the actual confirmation page. I'm not going to show you the whole thing because, of course, it does have my EIN number on it. But this is exactly when you go on to the irs.gov, okay? Now, some of us already know how to get the ministerial trust EIN. You would use the same way of getting that method of EIN number so that it is a 508, even though it's an 84 number or whatever sequence that they're on. Now, you simply go to irs.gov. I'll drop in the drop box the instructions on how to get the ministerial trust. The only difference is that you don't have to put ministerial trust at the end of this, and you don't have to put trust either, because as you can see, when it populated and to get the confirmation number, it automatically has trust on it and who the trustee is. Okay? Now, what you're going to do is this is going to be in the name of your birth name, okay? So what we're doing is we're actually making the birth name a trust, and you're going to exchange that social for this new EIN number, and you're going to make the secure party the trustee. Now, when you go through the form and you're filling out the address, it's going to say, well, do you have, at the bottom of the address form, it says, do you have another United States address? That means on that page, you're supposed to put in that foreign address, the same address that you put on your SS4 for your 98 number. and then you hit yes. You do have another U.S. number, address, I mean. And then that's where you would put your care of domestic address, so that when it prints out, this is how it will look, okay? And so this is how you're going to also interact in the public. We have to remember that you are a domestic entity. You were not foreign. We already authenticated the birth certificate and took it out. That's why the secure party does not have an EIN. It only has a 98 number. Well, you know what I'm saying. It doesn't have a social. It doesn't have a domestic number. It came in and it got a 98 number. But the natural person doesn't have a number at all. Okay, so what we're doing is we're stacking our trust. Okay, because right here in the appearance of this is two trusts inside of each other. Okay, so we want to keep that in mind. Now, let's go over and start looking at some more of these tax forms. All right, so now we're at the Form 56, Notice Concerning Fiduciary Relationship, okay? Now, on this form, you're going to put your birth name, where it says name of person of whom you are acting, okay? You're going to put that trust number that we just accumulated on the last form. So, you're going to put that name that we just had and that trust number that we just got for that birth name. Then you're going to put your domestic domicile address, and then you're going to put your secure party trust, which was the first 98 number that we got, okay? And then you're going to put the care of address there. All right, so you keep this domestic. That's not really a concern because they already know how this is organized, okay? Then you're going to put your telephone number. And then we jump down to authority. What you're going to put right here is valid trust instrument and amendments. All right, so we already know right there that tells you that your trust also has amendments. So that means it got a UCC that goes with it. It also got agreements that go with it. And it has everything that needs to go to complete that agreement. We are not doing estates no more because of the fact that the IRS isn't respecting decedent estates anymore. Those of us that actually read our IRC code and are up to date with the continuous knowledge that we have to be in living in the land of the living, you know, certain things change after a time, okay? Part 3, we don't need anything there neither. Okay, so part 3, we want to go ahead and just put 1041, 1096, 1047, 1040B, and any others that might apply as you're going on, because you will be doing accounting for this trust. You will be doing accounting for this trust. So let's put our 1041, our 1096, our 1047, our 1040B, and any others that might apply. Revocation or termination of notice. We're not revocating or terminating anybody at this point, but we are going to jump down to Section C, and we are going to appoint substitute fiduciaries, okay? We're going to go ahead and appoint the Secretary of Treasury. And we're also going to go ahead and appoint the Commissioner of the IRS. We're going to go ahead and put him on there for fiscal. So we're going to put Stephen Turner Mnuchin, who is now, and David Corretter, who is now as well. Even though that it says that it's unoccupied, he is still taking care of his business, okay? The court and administrative proceedings, certification of trust on file with your county court. You can put that there. You print this out, you're going to actually sign that in blue ink, and this is for the executor. Now, let me explain something to you guys, because there's a reason why I use this particular form. You could try to get it on the new form if you choose, but I use this one because of this area right here. The constructive notice needs to go right here in this portion. So let's jump over so we can look at. All right, so this is the actual constructive notice. Notice to agent is notice to principal, and notice to principal is notice to agent. Let it be known any statutory provision uniquely pertaining to the public corporation and the commencement of an action or proceeding against it are as follows. Biblical law, Hebrew Code, 13th Amendment of the Constitution and its 20 sections ratified November 18, 1865 by 3/4 of the several states. Treaty of Dancing Rabbit Creek of Alabama, 1830, de jure Constitution for the United States for America, unique identifier number. Now, you know in your CDC, race code set, and also you will find your unique and hierarchical codes. If you know that you are Chickasaw or you are Choctaw, whatever tribe that you are joining to, if you are participating in joining a tribe or creating a tribe, then you need to have your identifier numbers on here because you are identifying yourself. This also goes with the census for 2020, people. Okay? The Census Bureau is out of the CDC. The CDC is nothing but a collection of statistical data. All right, they cover it up talking about Center of Disease Control. No, these people are right along with LexisNexis. Okay, so make sure that we're identifying ourselves in the public, not just the private. Okay, if you want to just wake up one day and decide that you want to be an American national, you got to let people know that that's what you decide with your self-determination. Okay, you don't be public and be belligerent, then be private and read books. That's backwards. Let's keep it going. So, you want to make sure that you put your codes there. And then drop down, whereas the signature, beneficiary rights, and all property described in the form notice shall attach to UCC1 financing statement on deposit with Maryland Secretary of State file number. Now, this is where you put your international, or you can put your regional, whichever one, because they're both just a duplicate. One just has a little bit more going with it. But I chose to use my international because I'm entering into international chambers with my 98 number, right? So we want to make sure that we put our Secretary of State file number for our international filing right here. The signature of the authorized agent, executor, trustee, sure juris of this notice made a part herein by reference concerning fiduciary relationship is bonded in the amount of $22 pieces of pre-1964 .999 fine silver coin, lawful money, as illustrated below. The lawful status of the authorized agent executor is American Shahata, national, private citizen, and national pursuant to Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4 of the organic United States Constitution for America, the Republic. All right? So you want to sign this and you want to get this form notarized. This goes on the back of the 56, okay? All right, so also with your 56s, remember we had appointed substitute fiduciaries, right? So with those fiduciaries, we have to send them letters of appointment. We can't just go around and appoint people and not give them instructions to what they're supposed to do as performing under their appointment. So with that, we come with the letters of appointment of fiduciary, debtor, and creditor. All right, so these are the appointment letters that you need to appoint to the particular people that you're appointing, okay? So the secretary, whoever we're with, because this is going to keep going. If you're dealing with commercial debts, you know, whoever you're appointing, whether it be a judge, a prosecutor, or the secretary of treasury, whomever, you need to go ahead and send them a letter of appointment to go along with it, okay? This one, for instance, is to Eric Thornton, so the Inspector General. But for those substitute fiduciaries that we put, with their address is already on there, so we need to go ahead and appoint them, okay? And each one of them, I think this is a series of 3 56s. So, you know, when we get into going ahead and doing the other ones, you'll see who they're supposed to go to as well. But we also need to get David and Stephen. We got to send them an appointment of fiduciary. So we already know that that needs to be done. So, and then you're going to send them a copy of that Form 56 to go along with it. Okay? So let's move on to the next one. So the next form is the 8832. We do not need to do an 8822B right now because this is what we're dealing with. You already should have went back and created the trust with the birth name on it. When you did that, you already gave it a foreign address, the same foreign address that's on the 98 number, and then you made it the trustee, okay? So now what we need to do is we need to fill out this 8832 entity classification election. So it's going to be the same name as your domestic trust with your domestic trust EIN care of, domestic address, city, and state. Okay? Skip down. It's going to be your initial classification. Has this eligible entity previously filed? Nope, so we're going to skip. Was the eligible entity prior election and initial classification? Yes, skip to line 3. Does this entity have more than one owner? This entity only has one owner. Now, if it has two, if you have a family trust that you want to collapse it into, then you would hit yes. And then the family trust would actually be the name of the parent corporation, which is still a trust. But in this essence, it's just you, and you're doing your own process, and you're probably going to collapse things underneath that. So until you grow into that family trust, let's keep it simple. So it'll be 4, and then you're going to put your name of the secure party 9(8) trust, and that is going to be the owner. And that's how you're going to collapse this one affirmatively up under that trust. That's it, and that's all. The responsible party on the 8832 and address does not need to be changed, so we don't need to do that because we already gave it a foreign address and we already named this trust as the responsible party. So now we're just collapsing it so they know yet again who the owner of this trust is. Okay, so let's go to the next form. All right, so now we're in the land of 1040B. 1040B is quite simple. You're going to go down here to the actual payment voucher. You're going to put your social security number. Then you're going to skip to 4 and 5. You're going to put your birth name. And then you're going to skip down to home address. That home address is at 55 Waters Street, New York, New York. Okay? Now, this is different from the trust, both of them that we just set up, because, mind you, you're still at the DTC. So let's go get that payment. All right, so you'll leave number 3 blank for right now because you don't know what to put on that as of yet. So you just want to submit this because you've already given people fiduciary. So now you are just closing the loop with your 1040B. All right, so if you need to learn about what a 1040B is and how that works, there's a nice instructional literature right on top of that form. So let's keep going over to the W-8 BEN. All right, W-8 BEN, Certificate of Forward Status of Beneficial Owner for the United States Tax Withholding and Reporting Individuals. All right, now let's scroll down to this form. I'm going to go through this pretty quick because it's quite simple. Part 1, you're going to put your name in proper syntax. First hyphen, middle, colon, last name. Country of citizenship, America. All right. 3, permanent address. It's going to be the forward address that you use on both of your trusts, okay? Mailing address is going to be in care of your domestic address. All right. Country is still America. Country is still America, okay? 5, U.S. identification number. You don't have one. Foreign tax number. That's where you put your 9(8) number. So now we know that this is applying to who? That trust. And we also know that the responsible party of that trust does not have an EIN number. So it has to create an EIN number to interact in commerce with the United States since it's a foreign entity, right? So all of this is still keeping it apart from you, the natural party, because remember on that SS4, you don't have a number. So this is still you acting as a trust, okay? Date of birth, you're going to put your born date there. If you want to claim any tax treaty benefits, you could put it there, but be mindful if they apply to you, if they're still valid or whatnot, you could put that there as well. Then you would sign down at the bottom right here, put your signature, then print your name right here as if I have it, and if you're an executor or if you're an executrix, and that is it. This form also needs to be received by your local IRS W-8 BEN agency. It will be stamped as well with W-I BEN department, and it will be received, okay? So that's another form that has to go. Final form is a 2848. So we're going to fill out the 2848, the power of attorney and declaration of representative. Okay, so this is how you get your CAF number. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to fill out that trust with that trust EIN, the telephone number, and also that UCC file number over there, okay? The representative is going to be the secure party and the care of the domestic address of the secure party. Okay, so, or the trustee in that regard. All right, so I'm going to fill that out, and that's simple. We're not appointing anybody else as of yet. Like we didn't appoint nobody but ourselves with our 56s, because it seems as if people are getting a bit confused. So we're going to take this one step at a time, and let's deal with us collecting this trust for ourselves and making ourselves beneficial ownerships and getting the proper credentials that we need to operate in it before we go appointing anybody else. All right, so now let's skip down to 3. We're going to request, this is the return to the source for settlement and closing in exchange for treasury account number. You can put your social with dashes. You're going to be doing a 1041, 1099 OID, 1096, 1047, 1040V. I advise people to go for the last 3 years, even though you can do it for a lifetime. But I just will put the last 3 years, 2017, 2018, 2019. All right. When we go into having that class about doing those 1099 forms, I'll show you how to do that, okay? But this all goes in concert with it and any years in question, okay? So when we get into that, then you'll understand what amount you're supposed to put on that 1040V. But still, you might have some things out there that need to be go ahead and settled up now, all right? So let's keep going. It says, specific use not recorded on centralized authorization file. If the power of attorney is for a specific use not recorded on CAF, check this box. All right, see the instructions, line 4, specific use not recorded on CAF. You want to get a CAF number. So we're going to keep going. Okay. Additional acts authorization, sign and return, replace treasury account number, social with dashes as the account number on both left-hand side under receipt name to prevent identity theft and account. This is instructions. Being intercepted and or deferred if left open blank on Form 1099 OID. So we're getting somewhere now. So let's keep going. Other acts, settle and duplicacy, interstate conflict of laws, aka private laws, commercial fraud, the SS5, which is the Social Security application, and all valid trust instruments and amendments. Zero out all years through to 2007. Well, let's put 2019, since we're going through and not starting. So zero out all counts through 2019 on account social with no dashes for settlement and closing and exchange. Okay. B, acts, specific acts not authorized. Identity of your secure party name as the sponsor for the credit that funds the treasury bill and approves prepayment using his or her credit exemptions. Okay. This is where you're going to put your signature right here. Authorized representative, which you are, and then you're going to print the name of the trust, okay? You can print the name of the taxpayer too right here. And then that is it. Let's see, declaration, have all that. Just put your UCC file number right there, sign right there, and that is pretty much it. That's all you have to do on this 2848 form. The examples of all the forms are definitely within your folder. All right, so all the forms that we went over are inside of your folder for you to review to go along with the webinar that I just did. So we got the 498. We have the trust EIN. We have the Form 56 that goes with the new statement, constructive notice on the back of that. That also goes with the letter of appointment. We got our 8832, where we took ownership of that trust. We have the W-8 BIN for the 9A number for you to enter into commerce and domestically. We also have the 1040V, and we also have the 2848. So this concludes the Irs Election class. All this will be inside of your class folder. And I'll also have in there, I didn't forget to put the instructions on how to get that domestic EIN for the trust, but most of you already know, but it'll be inside the folder as well. All right, have a good day.